Me too, thanks. Awesome, I got 10 already. The thing is, when I was thinking about talking here about the Internet of Things and what I could tell you, I was thinking about putting up a presentation, putting together like facts, what is new, what are the new developments, and I was thinking, this is something that you all can Google on the internet, you can see it and you can just read it yourself. What you cannot do is actually getting my experiences from being a founder in an innovative market field, working together with retailers that have been there for about 80 years. So we've heard about megatrends and where we're all gonna go. But the thing is, we're here with really innovative people that think ahead, but the industry, especially in Germany where it comes to machines, retailers, is not at that level. And I'm always wondering, presentations are great, they make you innovative, they tell you you have to go forward, you have to go forward, and then you look back, and I'm actually looking at, so what's the current level of innovation? And it's really bad. So when we talk about the Internet of Things and how everything gets connected, we always talk about new things, completely from the scratch, new. But what we don't do is we do not talk about the industry that is already there and how we get it there. Yesterday I learned that about 80% of all presentations that you hear are kind of, well, let's say a copycat from something that you've heard already, which will also be the fact for my presentation, because I was at a presentation about China and how China is getting innovative. We heard about this app already. China is huge because China was always way back behind and then jumped over and is now digitalized as hell because there's nothing in between. They didn't have like the industry 2.0 where you had like factories being built up and being based on very old systems, but they just jumped into modernity. And then you have Germany where you have a retailer that actually tries to structure data. The Internet of Things is all about data. And the fun part is I actually started in a business consultancy and I had to consult an offline retailer. It was hell. And I decided for myself I will never ever again in my entire life work with offline retailers because the data that you get is crap. You cannot analyze anything based on it. And so I was telling myself, so no matter what you do, you go online. Online is awesome. You can structure it, you can analyze it, you can work with it, and you can innovate. So we went into online retail, got data from retailers. We were sitting in front of our PC and we're like, shit. This is exactly the same that I saw when I was doing it offline. So we got data from, well, at the moment we get data from 3,000 online retailers every goddamn day. The entire catalog. This is about 300 million products that get into our database every day. And we have to structure that, which is actually no problem, but online retailers don't have a system in data themselves. So there's somebody who calls the entire same product completely different than the other one. Normally there's like a EAN code or numbers that are linked to that, but that just doesn't exist. It's just all messed up. And that is something I was always wondering about. That was actually a great way to ask me to speak about the Internet of Things. How can you actually get those retailers to get to the level where they have to be? Because they have the resources, but there's like one really big German retailer, and that is something that was shocking to me when we went into the computer department. They have one department that is still working with those paper notched things that you stick into the computer so the computer knows 1 or 0. And people don't think about that. People think about connected toothbrushes. They think about bells that tell you how hot your body is. But what they don't do is they do not think about, okay, we have this massive retailer who sells more than 2 million products every day and is still working with the technology from 1970. So how do we get this retailer to become really modern? We can innovate. We have like new apps that can just pop up within 1 year. But the real industry in Germany, especially machine makers, they're not at that level. And I think that is just something that I learned from my experience as an entrepreneur. Yes, it's nice to be innovative. It's nice to be young because you can just tell all the old people, you know what you do is just not structured, it's not innovative, and you should definitely change it. But you don't think about the fact that how do you change it? Like, how do you get there? How do you explain to an old retailer that it is nice when data is actually unified? Or how can you do that? And how do you merge old systems with new systems without having like a complete new setup? And that is something that I learned from working with old and new companies. The actual mega trend that we should focus on is to merge it and to get us to a level where China is at the moment. to like be completely modern, and that is something that we sometimes miss a lot. Thanks.